Welcome back to our 5 and 5 video series. As always, I'm Antonio. iOS board games have been hitting the scene hard recently. In fact, it seems like every major board game release already has its iOS implementation underway as soon as it comes out. I'm looking at you, Splendor and Baseball Highlights. Personally, I'm a big fan of these iOS board games, and they're often inexpensive, have good tutorials, and let you easily take board gaming with you. They are, however, a less than ideal way to play the game. You have to pass the device back and forth, you don't always get to see what your opponents are doing as they're doing it, which of course then increases turn time, and you don't get to play with all those fun components. But if you ever like to play board games by yourself, that's where iOS board games really come to life. This is our list of the 5 best iOS board games to play solo. In general, co-op games work well solo. In fact, outside of the few games that are actually designed for solo play, co-op's really the only way to go for the individual player. Given that, Forbidden Island is the first, but far from the last co-op on this list. For those unfamiliar, in Forbidden Island, you play a party of Indiana Jones-style archaeologists trying to grab the last remaining treasures left on Forbidden Island before it sinks into the sea. The iOS implementation boasts great visuals taken straight from the physical game and an intuitive interface that makes this one a winner. But it's the little touches, such as different island formations and ability to randomize your rolls, and smooth animations that really make this game great. We might have Sentinels of the Multiverse at number 4 on this list, but if we were just looking at creative and thematic ways to visually translate a game to the small screen, this would be number 1. In Sentinels, players take on the role of superheroes, battling one of numerous dastardly villains in one of a few active environments. These are original IP superheroes, so you won't find your favorite names in this game, but there'll probably be an imitation hero somewhere inside the box. What really helps bring this game to life on the small screen is the UI, which is designed as a comic book. So as you take your turn and resolve effects, the pages will turn, giving you the new animation, and a surprisingly immersive experience. This game of tabletop fame is the littlest sibling in Fantasy Flight's H.P. Lovecraft line, but it still packs quite the gaming punch. Elder Sign centers around a group of investigators patrolling a museum at night to make sure that ancient, eldritch artifacts don't fall into the wrong hands and the world doesn't plunge into eternal darkness. As with all Fantasy Flight games, the artwork is exceptional and featured heavily in the iOS version of this game, drawing you into the horror and mystery of the theme. The UI on this one is also exceptional. Just like Forbidden Island, this game benefits from being easy to port thanks to its heavy reliance on deck randomization. Lastly, but far from least, Elder Sign even has the distinction of being the only iOS board game my girlfriend has ever asked to play by herself. And thus begins the domination of Playdeck. Known for making probably the best board game ports around, Ascension for the iOS was the game that probably cemented that title for them. Without question, Ascension is the best deck-building game app out there. It hits all the necessary notes in terms of interface, design, and use of the game's art. But what really makes this game stand out for solo play is the opponent AI. Not only are there variable difficulty levels for the AI, but you can have up to 3 AI players of variable difficulty levels join you. Giving the player this many variables helps keep the game fresh and make the game work in a number of different situations, opposed to just when you have a few minutes to kill, or, just when you have a cross-country flight or something. It may not have been the game that put iOS on board gamers' radar, but it did more to convince gamers that iOS was a viable platform than any other port I can think of. Not only did Playdeck successfully port over a very heavy game, but it did so with such style and ease that it even got non-board gamers to play a heavy worker placement Euro game, an achievement unto itself, really. What separates this game from the rest of the games on this list is how it's able to convey the necessary information so easily and intuitively. This is especially impressive for anyone who's played Agricola and knows just how much information there is to process in this game. This is really one of the few games I still enjoy experiencing in a play and pass capacity. Well, that's it for our list and our video. Don't forget to leave us any questions, omissions, or grievances in the comments below, or as always, you're welcome to come down here and yell at us in person or try any of these great games. Thanks for watching, and as always, game on.